Former spy boss Arthur Fraser has lost a bid to cross-examine star witnesses from the state capture inquiry. Now, Fraser said the witnesses implicated him, but he was unable to point to how. Chairperson Raymond Zondo said Fraser abandoned a bid to get hold of documents, despite complaining his side of the story was incomplete without them. Our reporter Heidi Giokos has been tracking proceedings today, and she joins us now. Hello, Heidi. So let's not forget, of course, that Arthur Fraser, one of his last things that he did when he was in charge of the correctional services portfolio is that he was the one who granted Jacob Zuma medical parole against the advice of that parole board. But this relates to other matters. This is when he was spy boss. What did the Commission chairperson say as to why he dismissed Arthur Fraser's application?
Yes, indeed, Sally. Let's actually just go back to the point where we understand that Arthur Fraser once wanted to cross-examine witnesses that implicated him. He wrote a damning letter to Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, who's also the chairperson of the state capture inquiry, saying he was denied an opportunity to cross-examine witnesses that implicated him. He also goes as far to say as though he was never given an opportunity to cross-examine these witnesses that implicated him. How did they implicate him? It's over 5 witnesses dating back to the former Director General of State Security Agency. And this is all allegations to how a slush fund was established, the allegations of a slush fund that was established, and how front companies were set up to move the money around. Also allegations of how there was a direct relationship with then President Jacob Zuma. And these are all allegations that, of course, Arthur Fraser wanted to dispute and wanted to cross-examine these witnesses. However, we do understand in a very lengthy judgment by Zondo, making it very clear that if he cannot grant this cross-examination application because he feels it will not benefit the Commission's work in any way. We must also highlight the fact that the Commission is pressed for time. They need to submit their final report to the President by the 1st of January. So it's a lengthy process. We do know some of the reasons given why this cross-examine application was not granted is because we know that there are certain rules that apply for cross-examination applications to even be considered. And we know that Zondo's saying that those rules were not adhered to, also going as far as saying that documents that Arthur Fraser had requested from State Security Agency were not given to him, which it makes it a little bit difficult for him to provide this kind of evidence to the Commission. So on this basis, we understand that the Deputy Chief Justice denying and dismissing that application by Arthur Fraser to cross-examine. Let's listen to Zondo on that.
I can see no reason why it can be said that it is in the interest of the work of the Commission to grant the applicant leave to cross-examine any of these witnesses in the circumstances that I have set out in relation to non-compliance with the rules of the Commission and in relation to there being no explanation as to why, having said that his statement would not be complete without the documents that he asked for from the State Security Agency, and the Commission having given him time to ensure that he secured such documents, and the State Security Agents having undertaken to give him such documents, why he has not pursued that and why he is no longer seeking to place those before the Commission so that his statement before the Commission is complete. In all of these circumstances, I've concluded that the applicant's application stands to be dismissed, and it is so dismissed.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a strong argument if you want to come back, and you have to have clear reasons. Even though if it was granted, there would probably be no chance of oral submission. You alluded to the time constraints.
Certainly, Sally, and I think everybody needs to understand that the Commission is pressed for time. We know extension after extension has been granted to the state capture inquiry on a number of occasions, and it's made it extremely difficult for the courts to actually reconsider another extension because of how long this Commission has taken. But that is not the reason or the basis as to why the decision to not grant Arthur Fraser application to cross-examination was not granted. It's rather on the basis that certain rules were not adhered to. And it's also important to highlight, Sally, that Zondo making it very clear that it's nobody's right to be granted a cross-examination application, but rather it's the approval of the Commission to make that decision and to decide whether or not it's going to benefit the work of the Commission going forward. They don't have much time. That report needs to be given to the President by the 1st of January. So Zondo making it very clear that even if a cross-examination application was granted to Arthur Fraser, it would probably not have been oral because of the time constraints and how long and complex this would have been. He also speaks about how documents would have had to be declassified and how all these documents that Arthur Fraser was requesting from State Security Agency would take quite a lengthy process to actually go through, and how he failed to prove where and how he was implicated in these documents that he was looking for. So on that basis, we do know time constraints and rules not being adhered to for cross-examination. Let's listen to Zondo on that once more.
It will be seen from what is quoted above that Mr. Fraser's legal representative was specifically informed that because of the time when the applicant brought his application, there was no guarantee that when he obtained the documents he sought, the Commission would be able to hear his evidence or that of any witnesses he might wish to call. It was made clear that the hearing of oral evidence was meant to have been completed by the end of April.
Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, thank you so much for that report. Heidi Giokos.